The television business is not just about television anymore, and you know, although we are a digital company, we're definitely part of a television business. When it comes to TV, we have, for a long time, we haven't just offered TV. It's not just about spots. We've offered on-ground, we've done competitions with people, we publish coffee table books, we'll do all sorts of things that'll go along to that. So it's only natural for us to add the digital and the social media aspects to it as well. Yeah, people talk about online advertising being the most measurable, but I really sort of challenge people to say, well, what does a click mean? What does an impression mean? If it's so measurable, then these things should be self-explanatory. But instead, we've got to go back to analytics, and we have to go back into the website and look at what all the effects were. Yes, it is measurable. Yes, it is more measurable than television. Yes, it is more measurable than print. But being able to say that this campaign had this impact on awareness or had this impact on share of voice, those are the things that we're doing with some of our more cutting-edge accounts at the moment. If I'm looking at a media campaign and I'm trying to look at the success, I'm not so interested in Twitter, and I'm not so interested in Facebook. I'm really interested in the more substantive content that people have put together, how people are talking in forums where people are actually exchanging information sort of pre and post purchase. I'm also interested in blog posts where people are actually putting down large amounts of detailed information. If I saw those two metrics move, I'd be far more interested than I would be with than a big run on Twitter. Twitter's great, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to poo-poo Twitter in any way, but I think that if we're looking at really raising awareness, if someone's going to sit down and publish like a 6-7 paragraph blog, it's a very different thing to writing a few characters. And so I think that if we're going to get down to really measure things, I think that we have to look at the more deep impact, and that's also going to mean that there's going to be a greater lead time between the time that the advertising runs and the time that the people's awareness is actually becoming measurable. You've got to create awareness and desire, and display advertising does that. It does it on target, on market, at a very low cost. So you could use TV, you can use print, you can use anything to work in that area, but online display from a digital aspect provides that part of the campaign. Search is just the thing in the middle. It's when people are looking for you, you have to make sure you're findable. And social media builds up grassroots. It builds up sort of a social awareness. But remember that social media is happening in pockets. It's not happening in the mass media. Social media is not something you can really go out and hit like a broadcast medium. Because it's the first non-broadcast media we've ever worked with, the rules are still emerging. Marketing is marketing, and the tricks of marketing will never change. My father's an old advertising man, and he told me there are 96 problems and 98 solutions, and they all already exist. Just because the media is new doesn't mean that the ways that we actually, human psychology hasn't changed. The places where people buy has barely changed. Like a supermarket is still a supermarket, and so when we're going out to sell to people, all we've got to do is adapt what works well in the traditional world and introduce that into online. What people for the other way around, it's not really, they haven't really got a choice, it's really being forced upon them. Things like Google TV and things like that, your TV's going to be a computer. Mine already is, but for everybody, their TV will become another one of the screens of their life, and it will take on a two-dimensional aspect. That's all going to be 3D TV now. Anyway, it's going to be a two-way aspect. So I think that really all that people can do in the traditional world is just learn as much about the speed of business and about the accountability that comes from digital. And those are really the sort of the things that traditional advertising's really got to take away from the experiment that's been online advertising so far.